Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We did a video a little while ago about the best key programmer and the price and the range and what it does, and we've done 2020, 2021, now we're into 2022, and when I released the 2021 video I featured this IM608, and it's quite a thicker tablet than this one we've got in front of us. They're made by the same manufacturer, and when I was talking about this one being the best one, more bang for buck, you get everything you need, it was kind of buy the best one and then you've kind of got everything. That's what a lot of us do, so that's why I suggested the IM608. I got a few comments back from a few automotive locksmiths and they were saying 608, go for the 508. 608 is for cats, was one of the comments. So I've looked into it, and there's a lot of merit to what he was saying about that. So this year we're looking at the IM508. Now I just want to say there are a few differences, such as size of the tablet, price of the tablet. For the IM608 in Australia you're looking 6600 plus GST, you know, a $7,000 investment approximately. For the IM508 you're looking half that investment, and the functionality and all the features that it can do are almost the same. You get everything you need to do as an automotive locksmith on the 508. The 608 does have a few functions, but you'll probably never need them, okay? So let's look at what the 608 has. It has immobilizer, programming, diagnostic, service updates, key, EEPROM programmer, and the 508 has it too. Now, there are extras that you can add to the 508 to actually do some of the more complex cars. Like you can get, where's my list here, if I can show it to you real quick. I have a picture of one of the modules which you can use, which will give you the same functionality for Mercedes, EEPROM programming, and you don't really need to buy the 608. You can get away with a 508, if I can find the photo of it. Probably should have had it ready. Won't be a moment. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here, 508. Okay, so just having a look at the advanced kit of the 608, 6100 plus GST, so 60, 66, 67, $100 Australian, plus you have to pay a subscription. This is the complete package here, where you get the XP400 Pro, which is this box here. You also get this other box here which allows you to connect via Bluetooth to the tablet. So you plug one side into your car, you plug your Bluetooth adapter in, and then they talk to each other. This is the complete kit of EEPROM stuff. A lot of that you won't actually use, but you can buy it even if you got the 508, and you can add it to the 508. So just having a quick look here, they're doing on this promotion here, they're doing a renewing a remote using the 608 using the XP400 Pro. You can do that with a 508, so you don't need the 608. They're also doing some programming in line with the wires, flashing EEPROM, so you can do that with the 508 too. You can buy this XP400 and add it to the 508 and do Mercedes and do everything that they're doing with the 608, and what you'll probably find is that the 508 will cover more of everything that you need without needing to go to that, spending that extra money. So that's the 608, we spoke about that. There's a Mercedes module that it's doing. So you can get all of that for the price of the 508. Some of the features now we're going to run through and show you is basically going to identify for price, what you're getting, what it can do. A general overview of what this machine does. It programs in keys to cars. It has an onboard diagnostic function for car diagnostics, as much as finding out, do you have a corrupt module, do you have a problem with your ECU, because if you've got these problems you can't program in anything into the car if the car's not working properly. You'll be going around in circles if you don't have that diagnostic function. Things have changed from just plugging in and everything working. Unless you're working on a nice car in good condition, sometimes it's not like that. So by having that diagnostic function is excellent. This 508 can also do EEPROM programming, and we'll take you through a few of the menus there. It comes with this adapter right here. This allows you to read the keys, read the chips, generate the chips to the particular format you need, so you can put them in the car, and you can also change page data and things along those lines. Just a little device here connects to this, and away you go. Now this device is slightly different to the 608. Where the 608 you have a separate box which connects via the tablet to the box via Bluetooth, and then plugs into the OBD. This device just connects directly into the OBD via a port on the back, and you put in your cable just like any other programmer. So there's one less box compared to the 608, one less thing to carry. It comes with your standard pack of dongles. Honda, there's Honda and Kia, and then that's OBD on one side. Then you got Mazda and Kia, and you put OBD on that side. So that's your standard kit. It also comes with your little emulator, so you can do the proximity keys where you emulate it. So you set this and you get this working, and then you can add keys because you've got this proximity remote working. So if you don't have a master key, you make the prox work, and then you can add master keys using the prox to get it into programming mode. So these are all included in the standard kit, and there is your reader and key reader. Now, another thing to note about this particular machine is why we're doing a review on it, why we think it's the best one for automotive locksmiths for 2022, is because of the price. The price of the subscription per year is about $300 for the subscription per year. So each year you've got to pay $300 US to keep your machine alive and keep it updated. With the 608, you're going to be paying about $1,000 US to do the same thing. Some of the things probably on the 608 we're not going to need. We've gone over this machine, and I'm going to be doing this review with somebody who uses this machine on a daily basis, who can compare it to the 608 and tell you exactly what this machine can do. And it's everything an automotive locksmith kind of needs without going overboard. When I said the 608 was the best, it was from my knowledge at the time, but a few other automotive locksmiths have pulled me up and said, hang on, 608 is for cats, 508 is for the automotive locksmiths. Reason being is, why pay for something that you don't, kind of need? For what we do, key programming and all the rest, this is a brilliant package. It even has some of the functions like full car diagnostic scan, which was one of the main reasons I was attracted to the Autel 608. So this has it too, and it's a 508, half the price, half the size, same functions, add-on modules, same add-on modules. You can also go to Autel's website, type in whatever car you want, go under, I think it's support. They've got a full list of cars. You can look up every car, every make, every model, what it can do, what remotes can't do. So you go to Autel, look it up, and you can see from there. All right, so we're going to turn the lights off so we don't get the glare, and we're going to go through and we're going to actually show you a lot of the functions and the things that it can do and how it does it and what it's good for. All right, so let's go over this machine. Autel Maxi IM 508. Right, so let's go over this now. Let's start from the beginning. Let's go onto the menu it'll have once you put your PIN number in and it boots up. The reason we've got the low lighting is so that you can see it more clearly. So your main functions here is immobilizer programming. So let's go there and let's have a look. Okay, do you agree? Accept. Okay, so these are all your icons for your cars, just like anywhere else. They've got little logos here. You can, if you're cluey enough, change them out to a logo like this that you can see, or you can do a little search up the top. You have history up here if you've done it before. You've got USA, European, Asian, and China. So let's just go into Asia for an example, and we've got Asia. So I think it's Asiana. We've got Holden there, Kia, we'll have Hyundai in here as well. There it is, Hyundai. Okay, ensure that the device is properly connected to the DLC. We don't actually have it connected for this one here. Here's our OBD port, so let's go back there. So that's as simple as it is to program via OBD. It's all walkthrough menus. One of the functions that's really good with this is that you can actually put in a VIN number and it'll automatically search for what you've got and tell the machine what you're looking for. This might save you the time from going around the car looking for a VIN plate, trying to identify what make and model it is and which system it's using. So for this, I find it quite handy. This is just Hyundai as an example. Some of the names there are similar to ours. We use slightly different ones, but you can look them up all the same and they are all there. So what are we in now? Hyundai system. Okay, so we've got smart keys, bladed keys, remote keys, and read PIN. So we're in Hyundai, which is fairly popular, so that might be of some assistance there to give you an idea on what it is. I wouldn't mind also just looking at Nissan. So go back here. How do we go back? Escape, escape. Oh, okay, you got a quicker exit. Okay, there's quicker. So where's Nissan M and Nissan? Okay, they've got a lot of PIN code calculators for different systems, so we're just going to have a quick look at that to see what they've got. Manual selection. Okay, so you pick where your car's from. Let's just go Japan, and we swipe left. Cube, Datsun truck. A lot of the ones we don't see too much. Oh, they've even got Elgrand's there. Okay, escape. GTR, let's look at that one. Let's just pick one and see what happens. Okay, tells us all about it. Yes, initializing, going to that particular system. Vehicle IMO information, hot function, control unit. So you can match control units with this. Turn the hazards on, so it's going into programming, wanting to program it. That's obviously some proximity key. What about the pin code reading? Did we see anything in there for that? Hot function. So it wants to start talking to the car. We're not plugged in. Okay, so extra information, that's good. What the key looks like, proximity key, what the emergency key looks like, where you're going to find the OBD position. That's quite good. One of the things I liked about the 608 was the walkthrough information that it was giving you. Like, you really didn't need too much tech support or any of these big manuals to operate it, because it was all on the screen, because it's built on a tablet, which I found quite good. There we go. So there's all your pin codes. There's your 20, there's your 16, there's your 4-digit, other type. What's other? How many others are there? Alright, you've got to kind of plug it in and find out. B18 E-motor type, that's the one I'm not familiar with. Let's have a look at that. Okay, coding, all the rest. Okay, so there's a couple of quick examples of some of the OBD functions that this IM508 has. Of course, it's got a wide range of cars. Comparing it to the Smart Pro, would you say that this has more than the Smart Pro or less?
I'd say that this is a much better deal. It does a lot more cars, and you don't have to pay for tokens.
So more cars?
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say
and you
yes.
also own the software, don't you?
Different cars.
You
so you've got BMWs, you've got Mercedes, you've got the ability to do some EEPROM work. You know, work with bin files and blow a key straight into a bin file.
So the range is better.
Oh yeah.
Because I've noticed the Smart Pro's now got some BMW and Mercedes.
Well, the Mercedes stuff is really to add keys. So if you've got an existing key, with the Smart Pro you can use a Silka key, which are about $60-something, and program that into the car, providing you've already got a key. So with Autel you can do all keys lost.
But the remotes, they're cheaper? You can use more generic ones?
Oh, yes. With this you can. With the Smart Pro you can't. You've got to use their keys.
Their things, okay. And also you own the software when you buy the machine, right? So you're not buying add-on software each time?
You're paying the $300 per year to kind of use the machine.
Subscription?
It's a subscription.
Not a token-based?
Not a token-based.
So you could use it 1,000,000 times in a year for $300?
It'll make no difference.
Okay. And you're saying the range is wider. I found the range on Mercedes wider and BMW wider, and with its ability to actually do with the wires, like this type thing here, if I can show it, where you're actually soldering on, I found it to be way, way in front of Smart Pro. You agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. So you can do quite a lot more. All you got to do is buy that add-on module for this, the 508 or the 608, and then you could do that. So I haven't seen the Smart Pro do that. Also, the Smart. How much do you pay for your Smart Pro up in the last 2 years?
$19,800. And the reason for that is I bought all the generic, typical cars, like the Hyundais, the Mazdas.
But now you have this.
Well, that's right. But the thing I do like about the Smart Pro is that I reckon most of the time the Smart Pro is doing software updates and working maybe more efficiently in getting that software into their device, because they're charging over $1,000 per software. So if they came out with a new car for 2020, Mazda for example, it's going to cost you $1,000 for the software with Smart Pro, where Autel won't particularly have that yet. So you will be a bit behind the 8 ball. So it's.
But a lot of more modern cars take a couple of years before they start losing keys, right?
Well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you've got a brand new car, top 1 year old, maybe you might not have it, but it's going to have everything else where 2 to 3 years they start losing keys.
Typically.
Yeah. So which machine do you use more on a daily basis?
Well, all the software that I bought for the Smart Pro, I'll use the Smart Pro. I'll have the Autel as a backup for like Hyundai, Mazda. So a bit 50-50.
And how do you find the walkthrough and this type of machine?
The walkthrough isn't as easy as what it is using the Smart Pro. You do need to kind of understand how the Autel's put together and who's designed it and what they think. So it's
easier on the Smart Pro for apprentices and people learning.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other things you brought up about this, which was very interesting, was this particular, because it's being a tablet, actually has the ability to be used as a tablet, which means that you could put TeamViewer on this and you could tether it to your phone. Somebody in the office could actually log into this tablet while you're on a job, correct the problem or fix the code or walk through the menus and program it for you, and you could be just there holding the tablet, turning the key on when you're told to or not.
You could definitely give it to an apprentice and say, rightio, here's a bag of transponders, here's the Autel, go and plug it in and I'll program the car remotely, you just follow some instructions.
Okay. You've also got email as well, so you could email somebody a bin file if you needed to. They could actually team viewer it, which is control it remotely, which is something that's not been heard of. You have the browser as well if you need to do some research or log on to a particular website for more information or user manuals and things like that. So you can use it as a tablet, which is good. You even watch porn on it if you wanted to. If you're in when you got a 20-minute lockout.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Got nothing else to do.
And the customer sees you sitting in their car watching porn on this thing with this tablet on that. Sure. Well, certain people might do that. When you're in the 10-minute lockout or the 20-minute wait.
I think that's the
maybe
minority
YouTube.
Of people.
Maybe they watch more YouTube. I don't know. It's possible. Anyway, programmer right here as well. So you can get an add-on XP400 Pro. There's the XP400 and the XP400 Pro. From what I've researched about it, the XP400, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Where is the picture of that? So that actually allows you to do the EEPROM programming. Is that it there? No, that's not it. Yeah, it should be there. That allows you to do the programming, and once you do that program, once you add that add-on to it, you can do EEPROM programming, Mercedes, infrared keys. What else does that do?
So it's a mix and match of like a Tango and also an Orange 5, the XP400 Pro.
But for most things you don't need it. It's more advanced, isn't it? For
BMW, Mercedes, you need it.
Yeah, advanced cars. Infrared remote controls like Mercedes, which is more advanced.
Well, you can do your old Toyotas, your 4Cs, eight Cs.
Okay, so, there it is. There.
The one thing that it doesn't
that's the device we're talking about here. So that's the XP400, and that's the way it plugs in.
The Pro as well. So the difference between the Pro is it does do some calculations a little bit faster, I've been told, and also so you don't put the cables in backwards and cook.
That's right.
The programmer.
I read about that. If you use the 400, you plug it into the OBD, you can actually cook it. So that's interesting. So as far as usability with when you add those add-ons, the wiring harness is actually, when you are doing advanced programming, what I noticed is they've actually labelled the wires. So what we're talking about here is these wires here, they're labelled, and the diagrams that turn up on the tablet tell you exactly where to plug this in and how to do this. So when I was looking at it, it was quite easy to use, just to walk through. We were doing a Mercedes as an example, and the wires were all numbered, and you knew exactly the terminals for the model of ECU we were doing.
Also, the next thing I've got to say about the XP400 Pro is that it can't do in-circuit programming, which is a really big disappointment because you are pulling chips.
So, I don't know about that, because she's clipping right on it there in circuit.
No.
See how to read EEPROMs in circuit and how to read EEPROMs when removing from the PCB.
Yes,
maybe some.
Certain chips it may, but just on your 93Cs, it doesn't seem to do in circuit.
So Toyota.
Well, there's a whole range of EEPROMs.
Oh, okay. Well, the 93s are the basic ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and there's also I did one the other day, and I had to hot air it.
You had to remove it from the board.
I had to remove
put it in a jig.
And I just wasn't quite happy with that. I thought, and I believe it's just programming that they could actually make the programmer actually do in circuit. So you can actually, other programmers can do it, and it is.
So you're telling me a simple EEPROM programmer, like a decent model one, would do in circuit, whilst this machine didn't have that that type of capability to read?
I think I was doing a BT50, and I couldn't do it in circuit. But with the Orange 5, I can do it in circuit.
So a good EEPROM program. So that's disappointing.
Well, it's not good. It's just the software that they've designed where they're grounding pins.
Well, that's disappointing.
That's
disappointing.
Yeah.
Because if you've got to remove it every time, that's a headache. Anyway, okay, so a couple of ups and a couple of downs. Let's get into this. So we've got OBD programming. We've got EMO programming via EEPROM. The diagnostics on this. Have you done any diagnostics?
Yeah, I have. Generally for locksmithing, it's probably good if somebody's replaced a module in a car. It'd be good to troubleshoot as well. So you generally turn up to a car and the customer won't tell you everything about the car. Like, they may know something, and it's always good to probably do a scan.
You find out, yeah.
You'll find out later,
Yeah.
basically. We need a key, mate, but we didn't tell you that the car hasn't been running for 6 months, and Fred down the road removed the ECU and etc. etc.
Okay, so by doing a scan, you can see that an ECU has been swapped out and not corresponding.
It really depends on the car. It
Okay.
depends on the type of car, whether it's VIN matched. So you might have an ECU, a BCM, a Tiller.
that isn't matched.
That may be VINs or vehicle specific or firmware specific for that. But the thing is, with the diagnostics here, what they're doing is they're taking dealer software or factory software and basically cutting it down, rewriting it, and putting it into the Autel. That's obviously what they're doing. Like if you take IDS, for example, for the Fords, you can see it in there. There's certain things I've gone through and I've seen, and I've gone, oh, okay. So it's really handy just to have, because, like if you have an Astra, Holden Astra or something like that, where you might need to use a Tech 2 to try and clear it to actually get keys to start to program. So this is, instead of having like a Tech 2 and instead of having multiple
Diagnostic
laptops,
programmers for each individual car.
each one's kind of cracked software, or needs a dongle, or needs this, or needs that. Nissan, all the normal.
Without getting too nitty gritty, how good is it for a low end scan to give you a good idea on what some of the problems are that might stop us from getting the key program?
I think the answer is Autel has put in this machine exactly what the locksmith will need and plus more. So a normal locksmith will go and do a job. If he comes across a problem, or she comes across a problem, you've got the diagnostics that will help you sometimes clear fault code, see what's going on, what is the problem. So extremely handy. I don't think there's another tool on the market that offers
That much
immobilizing
scanning.
programming and diagnostics.
The Smart Pro does have some diagnostics. I found codes and I've cleared them.
they're just
They're
clearing codes.
very limited. Also, Autel don't they make their name? Aren't they really bigger in automotive scanning, like mechanic scanning tools?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they'd be selling a lot. One of their biggest markets is scanning tools, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
if
as a locksmith, I don't
if-
get into that, but
well, if that's what they're selling all the time, all the rest, and they're doing this as a sub branch, then you would say that the scanning capability should be fairly decent for what we need.
there's a lot of updates on the diagnostics. So, like right now, if we just jump out of there, and let's just do this now, go home. So go into the updates. So right now, over the top here, we can see that's the immobilizer section,
Yep.
and here's the diagnostics.
Yep.
So there's one ready to go. So I'll just go update all. So that's the diagnostics part where it's going to download and then it's going to install that. It might reboot. It may not need to. We might have to.
So that's an
pause this
Infinity,
video.
Nissan, and Nissan GTR.
So it's 400 megs. So
Okay.
it's fairly large.
Pause it. We'll do it after.
Okay.
We'll do it after. All right. So the diagnostics is good on this.
Before we go
get
any
out of it?
further, if you need to renew your device, you can literally press renew.
And what? It'll just reflash everything back to
Let's
fresh.
go through. So here it's basically telling you can PayPal, and that's the price now. They do have specials. Half year or something, they may give you another year for free. So it's always good to have a look. You can pay by credit card, etc., whatever you want to
And
do.
can you do your subscriction through here?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, okay, I thought that was
So-
the renewing the device
So
fee.
it says your subscription will be extended until 2024 once payment has been made. So
Okay.
this is just 1 year. So it's actually that price there, to $350 USD.
Okay.
But once you do this, you're actually creating an order already. So there will be an order here, and when you log onto their website, you can actually see this order. That because I pressed the button, there will be an order already standing there. So I'll have to clear that at a later date.
Okay, so let's go back. What's this service? This is service intervals or fixing air pressure data or on the tyres, or what is? Oh, here we go. I just went too far, didn't I? Go back. So what is all this? Okay, oil reset, handy if you're doing your own services. Tyre pressures, battery, brake, injectors, steering alignment. After I don't know what that is. Suspension, throttle, seats, auto. So that's a lot of adjustments. That's quite good. That's
Well, it's actually just resetting code. So certain vehicles will come up and say, look, you need your oil change now, for
Yeah.
example. So you have the ability to say that you've already changed your oil and you're going to reset the light.
I've just gone into the speedo on a Ford, Australian model Ford, and I just want to see what you can do. Can you? Okay, so Falcon and Territory looks like you can set the clock back on them if you wish.
No.
You can't.
No. You keep going with it, see what's happening, but that's no.
So what's that all about? The Speedo one.
Well,
You can't
I
set,
haven't actually gone into this.
because some of the other ones I thought you could actually set the kilometres on some of them.
Yeah, maybe on certain. Okay, so what have we got here? Automatic, power shift, manual.
That's just the transmission. You pick which, because it's finding which model it is. Diagnosis.
Okay. I can't communicate with the vehicle. Let's have a quick look.
Odometer right.
Okay, this function is only necessary installing a newly installed instrument cluster. Well, I know that the instrument cluster will have to be set at 0. So what this tells me is it's reading the binary file. It can't be done by OBD on this particular car, but it's reading a binary file and then it's going to blow that binary file onto the new cluster.
So you need the XP400 for this.
I don't believe this will work because I know with a Ford Territory, you can do it, but the PCM will recognise that the speedo has been adjusted and the odometer has to be set at below 100 kilometres. You can write via OBD, and you can't go backwards. So if you've got 100, you can't wind the clock backwards, is what I'm trying to say.
So it's not a good machine for winding clocks.
No, but if you had a brand new cluster, obviously you could write it there, or it may allow you to go up in numbers because the PCM actually kind of controls more of that.
There are some cars where the speedo is actually combined with the immobiliser system, aren't there?
Yeah, that's like the
Volkswagen.
Volkswagens.
Yeah. So that's where, who knows, maybe that's where it's coming
I
into play.
don't see why any locksmith would really
Need that function.
No.
But I'm just showing some of the functions over. Okay, key via dump.
So
what's
Tango.
that about? Okay, Tango.
So basically Tango.
All right. So would you use this
Go in
over
there.
Tango, or is there
I
anything
would
you could
prefer
use this for?
No, I wouldn't. Okay, well, I was still in Territory. Why was still here? I wouldn't use this part of this unless I couldn't do it with Tango.
So Tango is a better device for this.
Well, you can also see what you're doing. With Tango, you're on a PC when you're doing it, and you can see the hex. And you can verify. I like to actually physically see the hex change, so I might look at the transponder, look at the hex of the transponder, write it to the actual file, verify it with Tango, and I might even throw that bin file into like a WinHex editor and actually see where that is. So yes in no whether I'd use that.
Okay, but it's still handy to have if you're automotive
If you're on the
locksmith.
side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can also change, if you're doing a Toyota and you want to change the page data, you can do that, can't you? We're disconnected here, are we? Okay, so we've got to connect to one of these devices.
We don't have the 400 Pro.
We don't have the 400. Okay.
So
we can't do any of those
well, what
functions
we
there.
can do is we can do a chip read.
Okay, well, let's show the chip read. The OBD functions, there's just too many of them to list, and they're very similar to anything else. So we've gone over that.
So what is going on here? Programmer. Okay. It is actually for the 400 Pro, this side of it. So you can just see there, key ID, load data, operator guide. These guides that they put here are really good. Like it's downloading the guide for this particular
The
car.
PDF.
Yeah, so it will actually store it on the device once you've done that, and you can also save it to a file and you can print it as well. So
Okay. Was that an orange device that was showing in there?
no. So it's got the different packages.
What it should look like, yep.
Gives you instructions.
What's the one with the programmer down there? What's all those pins and stuff? Okay, so that's just a board, yeah. Okay, there's a board, the adapters, showing you how to jump on top of the chip. That's quite handy. And it's got the instructions there on what you should be doing. Okay.
So there's a lot of help files, like for BMW and all of that. There's a lot of help files
On the one tablet.
on the one tablet.
Okay. It also has, on the back on this as well, it has a SD card, so is that where they're stored there at all?
So, no, it has internal memory, and you can also do that. So this is just TeamViewer.
How big's the internal?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
32, I think, maybe.
Okay.
But if we go home, so this is where some of the files are stored. There's an Android.
So you can manipulate some of these for your logos and things of your cars, can't you?
Well, there's a logo there.
It's a
that I
PNG file.
put on there.
Yep.
So original, after program. That's obviously one of the jobs that I've done.
Oh, so you stored the bin files.
Yeah, and it does store them in a weird location.
You could create a shortcut, I'm sure, on your desktop. Android's very good for
I
that.
don't think it is. Anyhow, you got access.
To a back end where the Smart Pro you completely
You
locked
can't do
down.
anything.
You could add apps to this as well through the App Store.
I wouldn't, because really
It's got enough.
it is a tool, and everything is there that you need. Like there is this also function app that they've got here. So this will actually tell you when you get reading through the notes. They've got icons here. It'll actually just tell you what it can and can't
Yeah, I've
do.
seen them on the website.
So if I wanted to, so I'm using a 508, obviously. Okay.
This might be the same as their website. Are you looking for cars now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it will show everything.
Oh, this
that it
this
can
is
do.
this is the same as what they got on their website, which is good because if somebody wants to know if the machine does anything, they can go to the website, look up the make, look up the model.
Let's just find something. Let's just do something Australian.
From what I've seen, it does pretty much as pretty much everything,
Oh, pick anything.
unless it's a real specialty one. All right. So what do we have here? We have a Kia.
So this is basically like MyKey Pro from Silka, where you can look up what the software does, whether it does all keys lost or whether it just does this or just does that. So you can
So
change.
on that car, you could say I can do it all as long as I have the right chip, the right keyblade, and the right remote. It can't generate any remotes, can it? But it can renew them.
It can on certain European cars.
Okay.
It basically makes a dealer key or prepares a blank key for the programming process.
Oh, the key.
The key.
Yeah, but remotes it doesn't do any.
No.
But it programs the remotes in. So
Well, it gets it ready.
it doesn't generate the remote like a VVDI.
No,
or
VVDI does VVDI.
yeah. And what was that new key tool they come out with? Here we
So
go.
this
This
the
is this
key
is coming
DIY.
out new. This is the key DIY tool. You can generate a remote and generate a chip on that. But going back to 508, you can generate a chip on this to some extent.
Yes. This is an awesome tool. The 508, the price, the subscription, what you're getting, you're bang for your buck, not having to pay for tokens, the information that is in this machine. So somebody half compos Mentis, this is a fantastic machine. You know, if you've got somebody you're just going to send out, Smart Pro, Top Don, or Ninja, you know, just this is a little bit more advanced machine, and you know.
But you could confidently say,
Like Holden, it's just doing Holden now. So before, they've been working on the software, and before you couldn't do,
is HSV in there?
I don't know. I was actually going to try this on a club sport and see, but I don't know. So before it didn't have all of the Commodores. So from VR to VT to, well, there's VE, VF, what's the new one? ZB?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is ZB or something.
ZB.
ZB.
So it's there.
So Smart Key.
Which is
So,
really,
you know, the
what is it?
software for
It's a
that-
Chrysler, isn't it? No, it's not Chrysler.
No,
it's
it's
a
a
Chevrolet
European
or
something
Opel.
other.
Chevrolet or
Yeah.
Opel rebadged, yeah.
It's not a real Commodore.
No. But the older ones there.
So let's just have a look at this control unit. Okay, read and mobilize the password. Well, that's really handy because you kind of need that. And also, when these tabs show up on the corner here, it will give you extra information. Like you can make that bigger. So each section has its own information. So it will give you a breakdown and just tell you a bit of information on whatever section that you're in there. It's really, really handy. I think the icon...
Smart Pro didn't have that much information.
No, not at all. But I think it should be bigger than that, but as long as you know that it's there, you're kind of good. So go
A battery
over there.
meter for the car there as well. That's handy.
So keyless entry, clear DTCs, add smart key. Also, some of the cars where if you're doing an all keys lost, I have noticed where you need two proximities. If you come to that, try the add key first, because if the customer only wants one key, sometimes you can get away with in an all keys lost situation of just adding a key. So they've done something to the software that doesn't force you to do an all keys lost and supply two remotes.
So
across.
sometimes you can do one with that, just add key.
Well, I did a key.
I would have thought that would have been when you've got one key, you add another key.
You normally need that key to present to authorise it, but
Yep.
they've tricked the ECU or BCM or whatever they've done to actually allow you to do that. So on some cars.
Okay, that's not bad. So it's definitely a tool for the price, and it's probably one of the better ones in the
Have a
market, I
look at
think.
Cruise. Oh,
I'm,
yeah, you got Maloo?
I'm just going through the Holden range.
Yeah.
So the Volt, the Vectra. But going back
It's
to
Maloo.
was Maloo there? What's different? That
It's a hiring car.
yeah, the Maloo, and then
Yeah,
but what
so-
about the HSV? That was different to the Maloo, wasn't it?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, the Maloo was just like the top end.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Ute? It was the Ute.
I tried a Maloo VE. I believe, yeah, it was a VE Maloo, and Smart Pro wouldn't because you need the G scan.
But the good thing is it's got now Australian named cars in here.
Okay.
From what I can see under Holden were Australian named cars. Because I had that problem with other ones where they had it named in America, but I had no idea what it was because I don't know what the names of them are in America. So it's looking like they've actually added some Australian names to the systems.
So this is because this machine is registered as an Australian machine. So it's not.
That's
it's not,
there's a big
it's
note
region
there.
specific and firmware specific.
Exactly.
And it registers on the server.
Exactly. So if you go buying a cheap one off AliExpress, you might not be able to get the regions that you want, or you might not be able to log on to the server to do the calculations. I noticed that we were doing Mercedes. We had a US version of the 608. We tried to log on. We couldn't because we were in Australia trying to log on to the US server to calculate it, and it didn't like it. So region specific machine. So that's a bit of a reason perhaps to buy an Australian machine. So you get region specific.
So European, let's just have it. There's a lot of information on the BMW stuff. I flashed a FEM the other day.
Manual selection. Manual.
It does have auto selection, but
Yeah, but we want to see
so I did it was a 4 Series
okay,
FEM.
the more new ones. Yep.
But just having a look, really. Vehicle information.
What about the EWS, the older ones, where you do have to EEPROM them? Anything new in there?
We can have a look.
It's not FEM, it's EWS.
Yep. So EEPROM writing, reprogramming the EEPROM key operation, and again, there's a whole list of stuff there. There's photos. Well, let's just go down.
So it's quite a good package.
I like photos.
Oh, there's the control unit you're looking for, yeah,
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
dash.
Where it's located.
Yeah, in
So
the
that's a
kick well.
left-hand drive one.
So that'll be on the
That'd be on the
reverse.
opposite side,
Yeah.
on the passenger side.
Look at that speedo thingy in the middle. That's interesting. That's a Mini, isn't it? Is that a Mini?
No.
Oh no, the one before. That is that a Mini?
Yeah,
That's a Mini.
It is.
Yeah, only Minis have steering wheels and gauges like that, big circular. Because that's also under BMW now too. So it's always been under BMW, except for the 70s. So. All right, so that's pretty good. So they put a fair bit of work into it for the Australian models, which is good. That's one of the reasons the Smart Pro, I was attracted to Smart Pro, because unless you know what system, you couldn't look it up by the vehicle name because it was all American names or UK names. So them having Australian names really helps out. All right, so I think we'll round it up there. Let's just go to the VIN, so you can auto detect off the VIN or manual detect, put the VIN in, and we're going to find out what car we're actually working on. I think that's good if you're in a hurry and you can't find the sticker. You could do it that way too. I can see generally quite a large range. I'd be very happy with the range. So would you say this would be the machine for 2022? Like if you only had
This
4,000.
machine is for 2025. Right?
Okay, if you only had, how much is the XP400?
What did I pay? It's about six. Just call it six. All up, all of this. So with the machine, with the
Emulator. Yeah.
with the 400 Pro, it was roughly close to about $4,000 that I paid for it.
AU or US?
I don't remember actually.
I think.
The reason why.
Hang on. So $4,000 AU. That's not a bad investment. $4,000. The Smart Pro, you buy the base tablet without the software and all the rest for about that, and you can't do any EEPROMing. So for $4,000, would you say this would be a start-off machine?
Yes, yeah, I'd say yes. You could start off with this, yeah, for sure.
And
There's other machines that come to my mind that I'd say that if you were starting off, getting into the automotive industry, doing, it depends on what you want to do. If you wanted to,
Okay, let's say you got a $5,000 budget and you're new into the industry. And
I'd say you need more than $5,000.
Okay, but let's say you only got one choice of buying a machine.
I would buy for value for money.
Yeah.
Are you talking about just a programmer?
Well, yeah.
Or,
Like, would you
or
go?
you're trying to get everything to try and start a business? Or,
Well, I would be saying enough to sort of start you off so that you can start doing a wide variety. And
what are the tools that I would buy for today, for 2022? What would I buy? Is that what you're
if you had
asking?
$5,000 and you're starting off,
Okay, I buy this.
yep,
I would buy VVDI.
Key Tool Max.
No, I would buy a Mini.
Okay.
I would buy probably a Ninja.
Okay. So you'll be out of money by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, everything Ninja can do is here too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why waste your money? So let's just go with the VVDI
Well, there is
Mini.
an advantage with the Ninja because you can just plug it in and not have to press the power button. It's automatically when you're
Okay,
powered by
a tablet.
So
no,
if you're in
but-
a rush, I prefer the Ninja because I just plug in and go.
No,
bang,
no,
bang,
no,
bang.
no. Limited money. Limited money. So let's say for $5,000, you get one of these, and then you get the VVDI Key Tool Max. You can generate remotes. You can generate chips. You can also do programming with the VVDI Key Tool Max. But you can do all your programming with this. You can do all your diagnostics with this. You can do some EEPROM programming with it. And anything more that this machine you can't kind of do in the EEPROM would probably be a bit more advanced anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like on it, yeah.
So this will get you all the basics get moving.
It will get you more than the basics.
Good information,
This
good-
machine will get you out of trouble.
Good information and diagrams, label diagrams, help files, all that sort of stuff. So would you say it's definitely the machine for 2022?
Let's just read a key.
Okay, read a key.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'd say not just for 2022, 2025. It's that advanced.
How do we read this chip here?
Oh, not that one. What did we
Yep.
do? The wrong one.
And also the guy who does car keys, I think in UK, who said the 608's for cats. That's what you're thinking too?
Well, I don't know what that means, but
He,
the
he,
608
he's saying the 608 is for the guppies. You sell them everything, when really the 508 was enough to do everything you needed anyway.
I reckon you can get yourself into trouble with a 608. That's what I'd personally say.
Okay, too much, too advanced.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can think of that has that this doesn't that you might need?
For locksmithing, no. A G-Box, all you need is a G-Box. There's 1 and 2. I think they're only selling 2. The emulator. So really you only need the 508, the emulator, because it already comes with the G-Box, and you're pretty much right to go.
So I'm just trying to. How come it's not detecting anything? Not connecting. Oh, it's a bodgy cable. This is my cable here. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It's
probably.
probably just a cable to charge it. Anyway, that's what it is. Anyway, so that's wrapping up now on the 508. There's a lot of other things we haven't kind of shown you as well. Can it do Toyota H?
Yes.
G,
Providing you've
D,
got the
C.
G-Box. It does all C to H, 8A. It'll do all of it, but you do need. You basically need to buy everything.
Yeah, but there's a
all
kit
the
for H.
accessories for. Yeah, that's right.
There's a
There's a
kit
kit
for
for H, but buy all the accessories.
And it can do B&W, the EWS, the FM, all of them.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, test platform.
What about the Mercedes? Was there any Mercedes it couldn't do, or you're not sure?
I'm not into Mercedes, but
Mazdas?
yeah. Actually, I think even it does the latest Mazda. Pretty sure it does. Smart Pro just came out with new software.
What about Nissan? Everything Nissan? No faults, no problems you found?
Mazda.
And Hyundai should be a slam dunk, shouldn't it?
Yeah, this does work with the Hyundai. Obviously, the DST, you need a key for that, or you need to get the pin from the dealer. General.
BT50 there.
Well, there's a CX, so there's a 20 smart key.
How is
and
it-
also Mazda.
How is this programming and generated remotes? Have you had any issues with VVDI or X-Force remotes programming in with this program?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you don't have to go with the X-Force programmer to program an X-Force remote. Like this will,
Huh?
you don't have to go with the X-Force programmer like the VVDI tool to program in their remotes. This you've had no troubles with any aftermarket programming
So
remotes.
You'll generate the remote, and then yeah, that's right. No, you generate it, and there you go. VVDI or
That's what I've always found too. But sometimes people lock you into their brands, and it only works like with the chips. You can only use certain chips,
Well, now
certain
I'm only
multi-chips.
I'm only buying smart chips. I've got
Yeah.
heaps of chips, but
I find the
you know,
KD
they
Blues
just-
are
I haven't had
mostly
anybody
what I need.
ring me up saying, "Oh, my key's failing," and I've been using them since they're new.
Yeah. All right, so that's the tool. Leave your comments down below what you think. If we've missed something or you disagree, leave it down below. This is the machine I'm recommending for 2022 now, and that's the Autel IM608. Sorry.
508.
Okay, yeah, right. 508 this time. Well, look, for bang for buck, it's better. The price is better. It's got everything you need.
It's more fair. So
Yeah.
it's fair to the locksmith,
Yeah.
the tokens. It's fair to Autel. It's just doing exactly what you need it to do.
Well, actually, a
And more,
little
but
bit more.
It's doing a bit more.
And there is actual tech support I have heard of where you can get a Zoom conference with some of the gurus who do all this sort of stuff, and you pay a few dollars for it, and they'll actually sit down and talk to you and take you through any problems and things like that.
But
So
honestly, you don't
I thought
need
that was
tech
good.
support because the instructions on this are pretty good. You've got plenty of information. You might come across one or two things that are tricky. You might do a car for the first time. Maybe you might need a little bit of help. But everything is on this programmer that you need. You know, you can literally just rock this up to a job and you're going to be as good as gold. Mainly the problem is that you might be using the wrong chip. It's probably more a user error than the tool. So
Yeah, well, there's so many options here. You know, you've got to have it exactly right, don't you? So many options, so many makes, so many models. Everything's got to be right. So anyway, that's Autel 508. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Okay, so this is Autel IM508, and we're doing a demonstration of reading a chip in the immobilizer function. So not a immobilizer function. We're reading a chip on this device right here. There's our chip. Okay, key, read, auto detect. So even if you don't, so if I've got a whole heap of chips in the back of my car floating around, I can stick it in this. It'll tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of them will, but they all use different terminology, I've noticed. Okay, page right.
there's the password.
So that was reading an immobilizer carbon wedge chip using the Autel 508. Reading it. What was that?
This is a 46.
46. I thought it was a PCF. Blah 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 blah.
It is. So that's the only problem is that you can only write page 4.
I can edit.
Yeah, on page 4, and you can change the password, but this is unlocked. You don't need to do that.
Okay. It's a quick little example. Thanks for watching.